Hello, hello, and a very warm welcome to the grand finale in the 2022 MotoGP eSport Championship. This is it, the hashtag Decider 2.0 coming your way tonight, live from MotoGP's headquarters in Barcelona. Jack Appiad and Jack Ghost with you as ever to talk you through all of the action. And Jack, this is going to be some occasion with double points on offer. The championship will go one way tonight, but your guess is as good as mine as to which way it does go.
Yeah, it's going to be very tricky indeed to predict which way it goes tonight. As Jack rightly points out, double points on offer. And we also head into unknown territory for the first time in the eSports series, as we do have races 9 and 10, two more than we've ever had before, and we'll be going to Argentina. And then Mandalika as well, a venue we've never been to on the eSport calendar, so it's all to play for tonight. We've got our three world champions, our three previous world champions at the top of the championship, and tonight it is going to be epic.
It certainly is. Can't wait for the action to get underway. As you say, our previous three world champions, at the top of the standings at the moment. Before we get into the racing action, let's take a look at those championship standings so you know exactly what the state of play is. And it's our 2020 King Repsol Honda's Adrian that leads the way at the moment. It does seemingly look like a pretty comfortable advantage, 12.5 points clear of last year's champion Trastevere. But as we said, double points on offer. So the magic number you need to have in your mind is 20 points. If any of those top 4 riders go out and win the race in Argentina and then in Indonesia, it guarantees them the 2022 title. So our top 4 riders all in a very strong position ahead of tonight, Jack. But we can't rule out the guys in 5th and in 6th either. They still have chances of winning the title today, but faint ones, given the fact it's been oh so competitive in 2022. So as I said, 20 points, that's the number you need to keep in the back of your mind. Right, so there's plenty on offer tonight, not only this prize to the left of me here, but lots on offer from our very good sponsors in the MotoGP eSport Championship. So let's remind you of what our gamers are fighting for to try and walk away or drive away with tonight.
So here are all the prizes then. They certainly are very lovely indeed. The top 3 in points will all receive an unforgettable experience courtesy of our long-lasting partner Red Bull. Moving on to the individual prizes, and 3rd place will receive a fully decked out Lenovo Legion gaming laptop, certainly powerful enough. 2nd place will then receive a scooter from their manufacturer that they represent. And the winner will receive a BMW 1 Series. Sleek lines and classic sporty styling. It's going to have them looking very cool indeed.
There we go then, some pretty good prizes on offer, Jack. As always, I wouldn't mind if, Trastevere won 3 championships, if he's to go and win a 4th tonight. Surely he's got room to throw some keys my way.
You might have to maybe give him some money. I'm not too sure he's just going to give you it for free.
Well, we talk him up good. We always say how much of a great guy he is, what a great eSport rider he is. So I think payment surely should come in the way of a BMW car.
Well, you can give it your go. I know you like to do a bit of sweet talking, so you can see exactly how that goes for you. But enough of the sweet talking anyway. We do need to dive into the racing action because that is the reason why we're all here. So, Argentina, race 9 coming up here on the first one of the Decider we have this evening. So let's dive right into all the race information that you need to know before we go racing at Termas de Rio Hondo. So here we go then, race 9 of the 2022 MotoGP eSport Global Series. You can see there all the rules that you need to know, all the standard stuff, but just in case this is your first time watching the MotoGP eSport Global Series, the important ones to know are balance, performance on, and tyre and fuel consumption are proportionate. So certainly going to be a little bit of a tricky one. Argentina, as we do know, a place that applies a lot of horsepower to that rear wheel, around the 2.9 mile circuit with 9 right turns, and then we will see very, very shortly a few less left turns with only 5 of those, but some of them are very crucial indeed. Think about turn 6, the run through there, a big opportunity going down into turn 7, which is ironically where the long lap penalty area is located. Hopefully none of our gamers will be needing that this evening, but it's very, very crucial indeed. Time now then to run you through the grid. This is the qualifying highlights that took place yesterday.
15 minutes of qualifying took place yesterday around the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit, and it was quite a pivotal one as well, as we've seen throughout the previous 8 races so far in 2022. Qualifying absolutely pivotal, with the gap at the front between our leading contenders so small, and it wasn't any different yesterday, with the front row of the grid eventually split by only 64 1,000ths of a second. On the outside of the front row of the grid will be this man, Piero Ricciuti, the factory Ducati, setting a 1:31.563. Good enough for him to line up third. Ahead of him on the grid will be the form man in the 2022 championship. Christian MM17 has dragged himself into contention, and he'll start this one from second, only 33 1,000ths of a second away from our eventual pole sitter. What a start to the season finale for the World Championship leader, Repsol Honda's Adrian. 12.5 points clear, and it couldn't have gone any better yesterday as he sets himself up to fire away from pole position. Disaster though for the 3-time champion Trastevere, not for the first time this year, making too many errors, and he will start, believe it or not, from row 3 of the grid. The man second in the championship in deep trouble. 7th for the Yamaha man.
Yep, so big trouble then for Trastevere there. You can see confirmation of the grid that we'll see very shortly indeed. With the Montenegro brothers 1-2, Piero Ricciuti third, and also Andrea Severi, who's very much in this title chase there in P4 as well. Another notable is obviously Vindex and Davide Galina, slightly further back in the title chase, but good qualifying once again.
And don't forget that the Tissot Pole of Pole Award still up for grabs as well as a result of that Adrian pole position. The man with the most poles at the end of the season will walk away with a brand new Tissot watch. And as you can see, Jack, perfect advertising opportunity here, but these are still looking a little bit empty. So if anyone from Tissot is watching, then call me.
You are grovelling for the freebies today. You've been a true Yorkshireman. Come on, a car and a watch.
If you don't ask, you don't get. Trastevere, Tissot, you've got my contact details. If you want to send anything my way, I'll be more than happy to accept them. Right, enough of that. Enough of me hoping to try and get a few Christmas presents lined up before we finish the season. Let's go racing, shall we? And get this season finale underway. Termas de Rio Hondo is waiting with the big question: who can take control of this championship? We are about to find out as we go racing for the first time tonight at Argentina. It's race time in the season finale. We're about to get underway with Adrian, the World Championship leader, starting from pole. Brother Christian alongside him in second, and the wild child Piero Ricciuti completing that front row of the grid.
Row 2, we find third place in the championship, Andrea Severi on the Suzuki. Alongside him is going to be Vindex, who's a little bit further back in the championship, and coupled as well with Davide Galina, who is also further back. Good qualifyings from those two.
It's going to have to be maximum commitment from the get-go for Trast if he wants to try and keep his championship hopes alive. The same goes for Jack Hammer as well, starting 8th, with Spadalongo on the VR46 Mooney machine starting 9th.
We see there 10th Tati Go on the Grassini Racing Ducati, and then coming alongside him we do have Mr. T, the Australian.
So here we go then, 10 laps ahead of us in Argentina. Which way will the championship pendulum swing? We're about to find out. It's a good start from Adrian from pole position.
Oh.
Contact in the back, is that Trastevere? I think it is! The world champion has gone down! He's crashed!
Davide Galina down as well!
Can you believe it? The man hoping to reclaim his world championship has surely now seen those hopes go up in smoke. Trast dead last as we go through the opening sector. A disastrous start for the Italian. He surely now will not be reclaiming his throne in 2022.
How many times this year we've seen Trastevere have difficulty off the line or around the first lap? Once again, the Yamaha man is up against it now. This really is going to be do or die for Trastevere if he wants to. Oh, and has he gone down again? Surely not. Is that a second crash?
And he's ejected the game as well. Well, dearie me, what's gone on here? It was a collision with Vindex. I mean, you couldn't script it. His fellow Yamaha man, those two train together on a regular basis. they came together and had the collision. I hope we can see a replay of it to see what happened exactly. Meanwhile, at the front, we've hardly mentioned it, it's Adrian the poor man leading the way, and Ricciuti and Severi are side by side, elbow to elbow here, fighting it out for second. These points are absolutely vital. Severi trying to squeeze through, but no way. The Wild Child slamming the door shut, and this is helping Adrian, Jack. We've not even completed the opening lap, and he's already edging up to half a second clear.
Yeah, half a second, that really is the magical buffer in eSport. Half a second is what we call comfortable in this game, and if Adrian can maintain that as we go down throughout the remaining 9 of these laps, that is going to be it. I mean, the championship will be blown, well, not even wide open. It's going to be absolutely destroyed because Adrian will go into it with a huge lead. He'll pick up, what's he going to pick up now? It's going to be a massive amount of points.
It's going to be a massive advantage.
But I tell you what, look at this, Piero Ricciuti, the Wild Child. He means business. Here's a quick replay then of Trastevere off the line. What happened? Oh, it might have been some connection issues. Can you believe that for Trastevere?
Was it Vindex?
It was Vindex.
Lagged in front of him. I mean, your heart does go out for him. It wasn't the ideal start for Trast, but regardless, for his championship to pretty much end in those circumstances, dive up the inside by Christian, runs high, wide, and Hampson, allowing Severi to come back through. Yeah, honestly, your heart does go out for Trast, and you can understand why he's just decided to quit the game as the result, because, well, game over for him, quite literally.
Yep, that is Gamer's rage all over it, to a T. And I tell you what, Piero Ricciuti means business. This has been a phenomenal lap then from the Ducati man. Look at the corner speed he carries into the flick here. We're coming down now into the final sector, and this is going to be some lap this from Piero Ricciuti. We said last time out at round 4 of the Global Series it was his best round in 2022 so far, and he's looking like he's kicking on at just the right time here as he's putting the 2020 World Champion and Championship leader under pressure.
He's going to need some assistance from elsewhere, though. Don't be surprised that if Ricciuti is close enough for a move, he tries to make it as an aggressive move as possible, because he has to see the championship leader fall down the order. If he finishes second behind him, Adrian will take that all day long, as he, even despite finishing second, extends out his championship lead even further.
Yeah, I believe that championship, well, the gap anyway to Piero Ricciuti, if it was to finish the way this would be, Adrian would have 33 points over Piero Ricciuti, but of course Andrea Severi is there in third, and he is only, what is he? He's 13 points behind. Oh, look at this, we're going to be changed for the lead then. Piero Ricciuti on the Ducati with some slipstream up into turn 5, and does he get the job done? Has he managed to pull it down to an apex? He has, and he blocks Adrian coming out of turn 5. This is going to be crucial then, to flick through turn 6. Lots and lots of time to find a run on him down into turn 7, but it looks as though Piero Ricciuti has got the move done. Fantastic move then from the Wild Child.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Ricciuti. He just about got it stopped, pulling it back to a late apex, slamming the door shut on Adrian, who was trying himself. There was no sort of championship in the back of his mind there as he looked to poke a front wheel through. Ricciuti got the job done though. Clean move, a smart move, and he hits the front, looking to take a first win of the year, can you believe it? It's not been a hallmark year for the factory Ducati man, signed at the start of 2022 to try and fight for the championship, but it hasn't gone to plan for him so far. A little bit wide there for the penultimate corner, but he'll swing it back across before going left for the final corner. Still holds the advantage. So that's 3 laps completed here in Argentina, and it's Ricciuti leading the way.
Yeah, massive move then for Piero Ricciuti. Of course, we just did briefly mention that the other way around, it would have been a 33-point gap. That is going to be cut significantly. I think down to 13 or something like that. Jack, you'll have to do the maths because I'm terrible at maths. But anyway, regardless. Flying then into lap 4, and this race is just starting to settle into it. We do have these top 4 that have definitely streaked out a little bit of a gap. Once again, Jack Hammer is the man that is on the hunt. There you go, you can see the gap confirmed. It is 13 points, I was right for once. Fantastic, that big GCSE maths has done me well. 21 points into Andrea Severi. Oh, that's unfortunate for Christian. He's going to lose a little bit of time there and slip back into the clutches of Jack Hammer just somewhat. But this is going to be spicy. If we go into the final race with this as the gap, well, Adrian doesn't even have to win the race.
No, that's the crucial point I was just about to make. If things stay as they are, Adrian following Ricciuti across the line in seconds, and that means he can do exactly the same again in race number 2, our final race of the evening at the Pertamina Mandalika circuit in Indonesia. Of course, 10 points with double points on offer, the difference between first and second. So 2 second places would be enough for Adrian to wrap up his second eSport title, but still a long, long way to go in this one.
Yeah, a long way to go indeed. We're about to cross the line to complete lap 4, fly onto lap 5, so we are edging closer to half race distance and 6 laps to go now. And look at this then, those top 3, just after that little mistake from Christian, they do have a slight buffer on him, but he has clawed back about a 10th or so in the second half of that lap. So Christian, MM17, the second of the Montenegro brothers, certainly not out of this one yet. And well, coming into this race positioned 4th in the standings, a 4th is really not what he needs. He needs to be right up the sharp end.
Ricciuti, was he on the grass on the outsides there? I think he was, nearly touching it. He's so lucky to stay on if he did. And if he wasn't, he was pretty close, and it's a clear example of just how hard he's pushing at the front of this race. Mistake from the World Championship leader. Adrian, wide, drops 1 place. Severi goes through. Will his brother capitalise on the mistake? No, he won't. He remains 3rd. But that is, of course, absolutely crucial in the championship picture, because now Piero Ricciuti, if things stay as they are, and Andrea Severi as well, they know that if they win the race in Indonesia, the championship is theirs. Only 5 points splitting our top 3 as things stand. It has tightened up an incredible amount, and it's worth noting as well, if you're just joining us, 5th as things stand. Trastevere out of this one. Contact off the line with Yamaha counterpart Vindex. Sees him out of this one, dropping 34.5 points adrift. The 3-time champion will not be making it a fabulous 4 in 2022.
Half race distance complete then. We fly into the second half of this race, and if it does finish like this, as we do say, it's going to be a he who dares wins in race 10, the last race of the 2022 MotoGP eSport Global Series. And what a thing that would be. Of course, Piero Ricciuti, not won, as we rightly said earlier, not won yet in the 2022 series. We've seen him have great rides in the past, but really starting to come on strong. And it's been a tale of that this year, hasn't it? We've seen at certain times that some riders dominated one round, then another came in and dominated another round. Think back to Christian at round 3, did the double. Then at round 4, Adrian did the double. And Piero Ricciuti getting off on the right foot in the most crucial round to take that race victory. And hopefully, for him anyway, that 2022 Global Series crown.
I mean, can you imagine this? I'm getting carried away here, but a man that hasn't won a race all year long coming into the final round is somehow able to walk away with the 2022 title. It would be some story if Ricciuti was able to pull it off. He's not dreaming of that just yet. Although he's cleared off at the front here, now over a second clear, he'll still be in full concentration mode, picking his markers, his braking points, where he needs to get on the gas, just to make sure they can tick the laps away and get to the checkered flag as soon as possible. Adrian, however, a different story for him. He knows just how important a move for second place could be here. If he can get himself up ahead of Severi, not only will it make life extremely difficult for the Suzuki man to wrap up the championship in Indonesia, but it makes his life a hell of a lot easier as well. And that's why he's pushing on as hard as he is to try and find a way through on the factory Suzuki man.
Yeah, and of course, heading to Indonesia, it's a complete unknown for us at least anyway. We've never seen a MotoGP eSport race there at the Pertamina Mandalika circuit. These guys, of course, they will have done plenty of laps testing there in private lobbies and also in our free practice sessions that we have before these shows go live for qualifying the day before what you're watching now. So these guys know exactly who's good, but we're not so sure. We've seen in Pertamina that a couple of these guys are, well, they may be the standouts, but as we've seen so many times from free practice, the likes of Jack Hammer are often very good in free practice, but then in their qualifying, they don't quite get the job done, and it makes it extremely difficult in the races to replicate that free practice form. So it's going to be an unknown going into the final race of the 2022 series.
Adrian was having a little look up the insides there, but it was coming from a long way back. I don't think he was ever going to get the job done, but just showing his front wheel for a fraction of a second to Severi, and we've spoken about what a story it would be for Ricciuti. How about Severi in Suzuki's final ever appearance in MotoGP, full stop, never mind the MotoGP eSport Championship, for them to walk away with the eSport title, a championship of any regard, would certainly put smiles on the faces of the people that put that project together and did so magnificently as well. There's the concentration phase of Ricciuti then. No idea what's going on in the background there. Is there a parrot under that? And he's just...
Maybe that's the championship celebration just prepared already in case.
Potentially. Is that going to say perfect combination underneath it?
It might do, yeah. He might have just done a Pekka Bagnaia rip-off, of course.
I'm not
Piero
sure
in Valencia was down there celebrating with all the Ducati camp, wasn't he? So he had a very good weekend in Valencia.
Had the title T-shirt on and everything. Ricciuti getting amongst it, as you should as well. Severi there as well, celebrating Suzuki's farewell appearance. As they get hard onto the brakes here, the laps ticking away. And Ricciuti looks to have got this one pretty much wrapped up at the moment. 2.5 laps remaining, still plenty of time for something to go wrong as we make our way down to turn number 7. But understandably, we're focusing on this battle for second at the moment. Adrian was a little bit closer a couple of laps ago, but Severi has just managed to eke out enough of a comfort buffer here where he won't be sweating just as much as he was a couple of laps ago. And importantly for Adrian as well, Christian MM17 has just lost a little bit of his rhythm and has dropped off the back of Adrian.
Yeah, it does seem that these front three then have just kind of settled into the rhythms that they need to do to be able to secure themselves that position for now. Of course, Jack Hammer is still pushing hard behind on the Red Bull KTM factory racing machine. Always we see this from Jack Hammer. Qualifies a little bit poorly from where we should see him really, but then comes through late in the race, and once again he's pushing hard to try and pinch a top 4 spot off Christian MM17. You have to say though, Piero Ricciuti, what a ride this is. We haven't seen too many dominant performances in the 2022 Global Series. I think really the only proper dominant performance was maybe Adrian last time out in Motogp, I do believe it was, where he cleared off and won by over 2 seconds. But this from Piero Ricciuti, with him stretching the gap up now to closing in on 1.5 seconds, that is, well, that's a hefty margin in Global Series terms. So certainly very, very impressive indeed. And I don't think any of us really saw this coming.
No, to a certain extent, we should have really seen it coming. Looking at the form book, he did finish second in both races last time out at round 4 in Thailand and Japan. So he had a little bit of form there, but was put under some pressure in both races by Christian MM17. Meanwhile, Adrian was extremely dominant, but we said not won a race all year long, and he's rocked up here and made the move, importantly, on Severi and then on Adrian to be able to romp clear. Now only a lap and a half away from a vital, vital victory for the factory Ducati man.
Yeah, vital indeed. And something that Piero, of course, has needed really this year. We haven't seen him win yet, and he was kind of tearing his hair out at the start of the year when he was finishing kind of 5th, 6th, struggling to even get on the podium at the start of the year, and he flies onto the final lap. This one seems to be all but in the bag, and what a win it will be. We'll head into the final race if it does stand as it is, with the top 3 in the championship separated just by 5 points. Quite incredible, and with double points on offer, well, it really doesn't matter that margin at all. It may as well be level, because it is just going to be he who dares wins.
Looks as though that fight for second is now sewn up as well. 3/4 of a second adrift is Adrian halfway round this final lap, so an important second spot for Severi as well as he closes in on that championship lead. It'll be disappointment for Christian to only come across the line in 4th. That double at round 3 gave him so much hope, but he's not been able to build on that since then. 23 points adrift of his brother is going to give him a mountain to climb going into the final round. And Adrian, well, he knows what his task is going into that final race of the year at Indonesia. He has to win in order to make life as easy as possible. What a performance from this man though, Piero Ricciuti. On his way now to a first win of 2022, signed by the factory Ducati team at the start of the year with the sole intention of going out and winning the championship. It wasn't going his way at all, as Jack was saying, struggling to find form, struggling to find pace, but it's clicked at the perfect time for the wild child. Piero Ricciuti out of the final corner and takes victory in Argentina. Look at the emotion. You can see just how much that one means to him. 5 points separating the top 3 as we head to the final round of 2022. It's all up for grabs. It's anyone's game in the MotoGP eSport Championship.
What a performance then from Piero Ricciuti. Race win number 1 of 2022. Andrea Severi does come across the line to take second in the end with Adrian. In the end, a distant third, almost 1 second back. Christian takes 4th and Jack Hammer 5th after just struggling to be able to close in those final few tenths. Spadalongo 6th, Davide Galigna, Tatigo, Vindex and Mr. T, and spare a 4th for Trastevere, the reigning world champion, 34.5 points back. He is still mathematically in with a chance, but with the form of these guys, he may very well much be out of it now.
What a time to pick up your first win of 2022. Congratulations to Piero Ricciuti as the factory Ducati man drags himself right into championship contention, as does Suzuki's Andrea Severi as well. Both of them now only 5 points adrift of our championship leader, Adrian, the Spaniard, just about holding on to that championship lead. Let's speak with him now. I'm sure a rather nervous Adrian ahead of our final race coming up very shortly. Adrian, 3rd place in that one. Importantly, you hold on to the championship lead. How are you feeling ahead of our title decider?
Hi to everyone. I did not about the race, but since of the beginning of the race, I feel happy with the ride, so I prefer to stay ahead. Now I know I have a very good from the third row of the lead, but I have to try. I hope to do it.
Well, best of luck, Adrian, as you say, starting from row 3 of the grid for our season finale, 7th for the Repsol Honda man in Mandalika. It's going to be a tough one, especially given what happened to his former championship rival, Trastevere, also starting from 7th. He's out of contention now. This is what happened in that Argentina race, this being the pivotal move, the race-winning move from Piero Ricciuti, the Ducati man, firing it up the inside of the Repsol Honda rider. He tried to respond to Adrian, but just couldn't find a way through.
Yeah, it was literally from that moment, there was no more contestation at the front because Piero, as we do say, absolutely checked out. And he goes into it after that race win with a 5-point lead ahead of this man, Andrea Severi, that dived up the inside of Adrian as he went wide down into turn 5. We thought maybe just for a moment that Christian, his brother, would also slide through, but no, he remains down in 4th, and that is in the end where he finished as well. But across the line then it was Piero, his first win of the season, and a very, very good win indeed, as we now dive into the decider with only 5 points covering those top 3. It is all to play for, Jack. This one is going to be, well, he who dares wins.
It absolutely is. Down to the wire in the 2022 MotoGP eSport Championship. Before we switch our attention to that final race in Mandalika, let's just remind you of how the championship looks. As we've mentioned, 5 points separating the top 3, but can anyone else get in the mix, Jack? You would have to say that Christian MM17 is probably the last man who realistically can win this championship. In terms of simple mathematics for you, Christian has to win the race, and he needs to have the likes of Trast and Jack Hammer finishing 2nd and 3rd. If any of those top 3 men finish on the podium behind Christian, if he's to win the race, then they will win the championship. So Christian really does need some help from elsewhere if he's to win the championship. Meanwhile, for the top 3, pretty simple, isn't it, Jack? They've got to go out and win the race. Whoever wins the race will win the championship. There we go. I like simple maths like that.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well for us, hasn't it, going into the decider then, round 10 of the 2022 MotoGP Global Series. And well, we may as well stop talking about it and actually go and do it, because coming up for us, we do have the Mandalika circuit. We've never been there in the Global Series, but we're about to go there now. And if you don't know anything about the Mandalika circuit, here's a little bit of info about it to guide you through exactly what it is. Of course, the race info then. All the usual stuff, the rules and regs, our race direction will be keeping their beady eyes on track limits and such like. But Indonesia is the location of #the decider here in the Global Series, and we'll show you that track very, very shortly indeed. Of course, in real life, it provided plenty of drama with a heavy downpour in the race, but no such thing here, as it will be lovely and dry down there in Indonesia, and incredibly hot as well. 2.6 kilometers. The track is 11 right turns and also 6 left turns as they go down into the final corners. A very tricky section, similar to what we've just had in Argentina, actually. You can see it there, a long sweeping right where they're going to be braking all the way in. It's going to be careful not to tuck the front before they dive and flick left to head onto the start straight. But qualifying, we need to show you the grid, and this is exactly what happened and how they will line up here for race 10.
Incredibly important, as we've mentioned, qualifying always key to deciding who is going to be fighting at the front, and adding a little bit of drama with a little bit of a pause, the man on the outside of the front row of the grid will be this man, the man that's just picked up victory in Argentina, the wild child, Piero Ricciuti, firing away from third position. If you're someone that enjoys some omens, then guess where he started our first race of the evening from? You got it, third on the grid. Meanwhile, second place will go the way of the factory Yamaha man, Trastevere, the man now out of championship contention after that crash on the opening lap in Argentina. He's going to be a spoiler in amongst the mix, starting second. Pole position, however, going the way of Andrea Severi. It's a pretty simple task for Severi, the Suzuki man, now only 5 points adrift of our championship leader, Adrian. And he'll be hoping to pick up that vital victory, his first of the season, if he was to pick it up from pole. Meanwhile, the big story that the championship leader, as he just mentioned, he's worried about it. 7th on the grid is all that Adrian could manage.
So in the end then, with pole position going the way of this man you do see on the screen, Andrea Severi, as Jack rightly pointed out, if he does go on to finally clinch this championship, he could become the first eSport champion to win the championship without winning a race. Quite dramatic indeed.
And of course, as well, we have to say congratulations to Andrea Severi. He'll be hoping to pick up the eSport title, but ahead of that, he's wrapped himself up the Tissot Pole of Pole Awards. Well done to the Suzuki man.
So this is the Tissot Pole of Pole Awards, then they're going to walk away with a lovely, shiny, brand new Tissot watch. Of course, a MotoGP special edition. And as Jack Appleyard was rightly trying to grovel for one earlier, these guys will actually get one. You might not, Jack. You're going to have to try a little bit harder, maybe send some emails off. But no, Andrea Severi then, Andrea Severi is going to walk away with this lovely Tissot T-Race watch.
Does look nice, that, I'm not going to lie. And Andrea Severi has won a few of them now. He's got a couple of watches at home, having won a handful of Tissot Pole of Pole Awards. So I know I said earlier for someone from Tissot to give me a call. I might as well do the hat trick, haven't I? Andrea, if you've got my number, just give me a call, mate.
I'll have
terrible.
one of them.
Mate, again, you don't ask, you don't get. But anyway, enough of my grovelling. Let's get on with it. The season finale about to come your way. It could not be tighter at the top. 5 points, splitting 3 riders, 2 of which hoping to win the championship for the second time, and one of them hoping to win the championship for the very first time. Who will it be? It's Adrian versus Severi versus Ricciuti. This is it. It's time to go racing in Mandalika for our season finale. And then there were 3. This is it, the season finale in the MotoGP eSport Championship, our biggest one yet, and it comes down to the final race. Severi, one of our title contenders, starting first. Trastevere, now out of contention, a spoiler in second. And the form man of this final round, Ricciuti, looking to go back-to-back from third.
Jack Hammer's got a good starting position for once, so let's see what he can do. He might be a spoiler. Christian M17, he is the outside shot, 23 points back. Watch out for him. And Tati Go, great qualifying from him, the Indonesian in 6th.
Repsol Honda's Adrian, the championship leader, is going to need a miracle from the third row of the grid. Head of Vindex will be looking to stay out of trouble this time around, and Aprilia's Davide Galligna.
And runners out then in race 10, the grand finale of the series. Spadalongo on the VR46 Ducati, and also Mr. T, the Australian, on the Pramac racing machine.
3 riders, 5 points, 10 laps. This is it, the 2022 title about to be decided. It is lights out in Indonesia, and it's a strong start from Severi. It's a strong start from all 3 men on the front row of the grid, but the best start comes from Christian MM17. And look at Adrian. He started from row 3 of the grid, but he's going to roll around the outside of nearly everybody. The perfect start for the man that leads the championship championship. And if things stay as they are, he will claim the championship. Can you believe it?
Ooh.
And look at that, there goes Ricciuti up the inside, diving through, and Adrian to take second. That could be a vital move. What a start from Adrian. What a start to the race. It's gloves off here in Mandalika.
If you thought they were going to be polite, you need to think again. This is all-out war we're seeing now on the first lap here in Mandalika. Piero Ricciuti is all over the rear end of the reigning champion, but soon to be no longer champion. Piero Ricciuti wants to take that title. The wild child, he's gone to the lead. This could be it then. This is it for Piero Ricciuti. If he can hold it there, he will be the 2022 Global Series champion.
He hits the front, but here comes Trastevere, looking to try and fight back. He's wide and loses another spot. And now it's the men sat first and second in a championship, nose to tail. At the end of this opening lap, it could not be set up any better as we run down towards the final couple of corners. Ricciuti leading the way. Adrian looking to go around the outside. Surely not. No, he's wide. He's going to surely lose a place. No, he holds on to second. What a start to this season finale. Ricciuti leading away from Adrian, Tras, Severi, Christian and Jack Hammer.
And if you're wondering where the pole man is, he's up into fourth. He just picked off Christian MM17 coming into the penultimate corner there. Here we go, change for the lead. Adrian to the front, goes wide. Piero Ricciuti on the cutback. Have that, lovely stuff.
And Tras looking to get in amongst it as well.
Oh,
Tras, he nudges the man that's leading the championship wide. Tras can't even win the championship, but he's getting amongst it. Adrian then has contact with Ricciuti. It's all out war. It's all out chaos here in Indonesia.
Oh my lord, what do you even do here?
Oh,
surely not! Into the
lunge.
fastest part of this Mandalika circuit. What a move from Adrian, the 2020 World Champion. He is having none of it, as now we see Andrea Severi dive up the inside of the Yamaha man, Trastevere, and push him wide. So here we go then. We've got the three we needed at the front. This is it. Whoever wins out of these three is going to take this title. Unbelievable. Here we go.
Can you believe it? The men split by 5 points at the front of the championship, running 1, 2 and 3. Big look up the inside by Ricciuti there, couldn't get it done. I'm still getting my breath back after that unbelievable move from Adrian. How on earth did he manage to get that stopped? How on earth did he manage to thread the eye of the needle there? Brilliant from the 2020 World Champion. One of the best moves I think I've ever seen in a MotoGP eSport race. And that move hands him the lead at the end of lap 2.
Oh, here we go then, the finale. We promised it was going to be fireworks and it is delivering right now. And look at this as well. We've got an 8-rider train at the front of this pack. On board with this move then. What incredible bravery that is to throw it up the inside and still make the apex through the second left and the right as well. Incredible stuff then. And he's even pulling clear at the moment. This could be all she wrote if Adrian can manage to escape up the road. But we're seeing now that Andrea Severi, after slipping down to about 6th on the opening lap, has surged through. The Suzuki man means business here. Of course, this is the ultimate, the final ever time you will see Suzuki associated with MotoGP. For now, this is one last hurrah in MotoGP eSport Global Series.
So Adrian leading the way then. We've just got a little bit of calm at last as these guys settle into place, settle into their rhythm after a chaotic opening 2.5 laps. Adrian leading the way a little bit wide through the left-right complex there, just allowing Ricciuti to close in a little bit further. That's where he made his big move last time around. And Ricciuti now only 0.3 of a second adrift. Severi there, still in contention as well. A long, long way to go in this one. And importantly, Trast, having tried to get his elbows out and tried to influence where this championship was going to head without picking any favourites. He's now back out of contention, down to 4th. Worth mentioning as well, whilst we have the opportunity, great start from Vindex up to 5th. Look at this start though.
Launched it, made Jack Hammer look like he was going backwards on the KTM. Jack Hammer did go backwards in the end, all the way down to 8. Let the brakes off here though. The Montenegro brothers, bloody Nora, what have they had for breakfast? Incredible stuff. Diving through, and look at that, Trastevere fighting for his pride as well. Gonna lose this championship, but he did not want to let them have it easily, as he did lead on the opening lap, and in comes an elbow there from Ricciuti. Cracking stuff. Awesome to see on the opening lap.
A little bit naughty from Ricciuti, that one, as he barged his way through. Certainly no prisoners with that move from the Wild Child. That's what we've come to expect. That's what we've come to love from the Ducati man, though. Wild Child for a reason. That's exactly why. And he's going to have to come up with a little bit more of that wildness if he's to try and find a way through on Adrian here. Because the Repsol Honda man, having started 7th, he's just got into his rhythm and has started to pull ever so slightly clear. It was up to 4/10. That gap has come down by a 10th of a second, though. So
he's got the hooks in.
Alarm bells won't be ringing just yet for Ricciuti, but he knows he's going to have to try and close up right onto the rear end of the Repsol Honda man if he's to make a move at some point during the next 6 laps here at Mandalika.
Steely concentration then from Adrian, of course, lost the title last year in a similar finale just like this. He knows the pain of being on the losing end and also the elation of winning it too. Piero Ricciuti, though, knows neither. He is going to be looking to try and clinch that championship, and he is digging in now. He's lost a little bit through the first split. We've seen how good Adrian is there on the breaks down into turn 1, and once again he's just pulled a crucial 10th or 2, but this is where the Ducati man every lap has been running it through, lovely through here. Oh, there's track limits. He's going to have to be careful of that. Not too sure if a race direction picked up on that one or not, but with only 1 on his board, he is okay for now. Of course, 5 before they do receive a long lap penalty. But as we are close to reaching half race distance, it seems that this is going to be, well, one of those that just goes down to a final lap lunge, I think.
Yeah, there's going to be a move. I can absolutely guarantee you that. If we know Ricciuti, and I think we do after watching him compete for a handful of years now, if there is a sniff, he will be going for it. He'll be diving up the inside, and he actually is just closing in ever so slightly. He's wide. Oh, that's a big, big mistake, a big, big error from Ricciuti. He's wide, and Adrian can now pull 7/10 of a second clear. It's not over and done with, but that could be vital. At half race distance, Piero Ricciuti is the first man to blink. He drops back to over half a second adrift now of Adrian. He now has to push like an absolute maniac to get back into championship contention and back onto the rear wheel of the Repsol Honda rider.
Now we're going to see what Piero Ricciuti is made of. We're going to see if he can take the pressure and deliver under that. This is going to be crunch time now in the final 5 laps for the Wild Child. Of course, never been in this position, so we don't know how he's going to react. Here is that crucial mistake then, coming down into the penultimate corner. We said in the info for this race that this was a tricky one to get. We've seen in the likes in real life, Tomac Razgatlioglu had a huge mistake there when he was going for his World Championship back in 2021 here. And oh, has Piero just gone wide again? He might have just gone wide again fractionally there. The gap still remaining at 7/10. So far, he hasn't been able to claw back any of that advantage. And in championship terms, it is advantage Adrian.
Mistake there for Severi as well, the Suzuki man. Just running wide, and I think that is a prime example here of just how hot the pace is at the front. Adrian is giving it absolutely everything. Tyre conservation is not coming into it at all in these opening 5 laps that we've seen completed. On lap 6 of 10 now. Is that Christian Edmonds 17? That's gone down, it is! The LCR Honda man, well, he had faint hopes of picking up the championship in this final race, but now it is over and done with. Christian MM17's quest to be crowned champion is over on lap 6 of 10 here in Mandalika. And now we are well and truly down to 3. Adrian, Ricciuti and Severi all going to take it to the wire.
Adrian incredibly precise through that first split there. You saw him taking loads of curb everywhere. Certainly got this Mandalika circuit down to a T and fantastically extending that gap up to about 8/10 now. So certainly it seems to be that the question we asked earlier of whether Piero can take the pressure and claw this gap back in is going the other way.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant ride from Adrian. I was going to say it was the ride of a something then, but I'm just going to hold off.
Don't jinx it.
No, I'll just wait for another 2 or 3 laps before declaring it a ride of a you-know-what, he who cannot be named. But so far, so good, as you say, Adrian. And all of the pressure, all of the weight of expectation coming into this round as the championship leader, and then suffering, as he did last time out in Argentina, to see his lead cut down to 5 points. He knew he was up against it. I still cannot believe what a start that was. When he had to do it, he did. firing through from the third row of the grid to put himself straight into contention. And it is a long run down to the opening corner, but certainly not the longest on the calendar as well. So that just goes to show what a brilliant launch he got. Yeah, it really does. I mean, absolute rocket ship launch. We've seen the likes of those rocket ship launches in real life in MotoGP, but that was probably the best one we've seen in eSport this year for sure. Trastevere then still fighting for his pride, of course, going to lose that crown that he has held 3 times, but unfortunately it will not be a 4th this year at least. Trying to pick off Andrea Severi for that 3rd place. If he does manage to, it won't mean much in terms of the championship, although him and Christian M17 actually have just switched places in that championship. Christian picking off Jack Hammer after his crash, so actually it does mean quite a lot then for Trastevere as he wants to fight for that 4th in the world title. But you have to say, if Adrian does go on to do this in the remaining 2.5 laps, no one can begrudge him of it. If he wins this race, he will have won 50% of the races in 2022. He started off this year winning. Oh, I thought Trastevere was going to go for it there. Caught me off guard. But he started off this race, this championship winning, and it looks as though he might well finish it like that as well. Absolutely. You can't deny that Adrian has been incredibly impressive throughout 2022. As you say, 5 victories, some of them very, very dominant as well. The victory in Motogp, the biggest winning margin we've seen throughout the season. He also dominated race 2 of the season as well. Sorry, not race 2 of the season, race 4 of the season. It all muddles into one now, given the fact we've had 5 rounds this year, the longest ever campaign, winning the race at Assen by just under 1.5 seconds. And it's going to have to take something pretty special now from Ricciuti. 1.5 laps remaining. Ever since he made that vital mistake, he's been unable to close in any further on Adrian. Meanwhile, Severi's title chances could be well and truly going up in smoke here if Trast is able to find a way through. The Yamaha man looking up the inside. Is the move going to come here? Had a big look, but no way through. So Severi stays 3rd. He's putting both his left and right hand together as we speak, though, and praying that something is to happen between Adrian and Ricciuti in front of him, because, of course, he needs to finish ahead of both if he's to win this championship. I'll tell you what, Jack, is there just a final twist in the tail coming here? Piero Ricciuti has that gap down to just under, well, almost 0.6 of a second. It's dodging between 0.6 and 0.5 and 0.7. It's jumping about all the time, and he's only going to have 1 lap to do it. We're going to fly on to the final lap. 1 lap for the championship. Will it go to Adrian, or can Piero Ricciuti pull off the impossible and overthrow him in this final lap? Here we go. Mr. TFTW's campaign finishes in disappointment, the crash for the Australian, but all our focus is going to be on the man at the front, Adrian. The nerves starting to get to him. A mistake at the opening corner allows Ricciuti to get to him in 0.5 second for the first time. He runs over track limits there as well. Adrian, I'm sure, sweating. He glances up to the left-hand side of the screen just to see what the advantage is. He's wide again. Adrian is surely starting to feel the pressure here, but can Ricciuti capitalise on these errors from the Spaniard out front? Oh, track limits warning then for Piero Ricciuti as well. It is full-on desperation times. He's taking the mick with the track limits, and you can't blame him for it. There's a championship on the line, God's sake. Here we go. The track limits warning. Trast is through, so that would mean that he's going to pick up 4th in the championship. It does, so a bit of pride. Oh, no, it doesn't. In comes Andrea Severi with a barge board move and sweeps it over the nose as well. What a final lap it is between these two. Just some pride on the line. 2 former champions, of course. But with only 1 sector to go, it does seem we're going to have a 2022 champion in the form of a HRC man, Adrian. A fantastic ride from Adrian at the front of this one. Starting from 7th on the grid, he needed to climb the mountain, and he's done it. It's the miracle of Mandalika. Adrian with the ride of a champion, and he becomes a 2-time MotoGP eSport champion. Brilliant stuff from the Repsol Honda man. Your heart has to go out for Piero Ricciuti through the kitchen sink at it in this final round. But the championship goes the way of Repsol Honda and Adrian.
How awesome was that? Adrian, hats off. You saw there Christian coming in. That's great to see. Christian, his brother, obviously competing out of the same household, coming through to congratulate. He's now two-time world champion brother. You can see here in the results, Adrian, Piero Ricciuti's second place. A great late charge from him to, well, end up second in the championship as well. And there you see Trast, fourth, the outgoing champion, fourth in the race, but in the end only fifth in the championship. Some 58.5 points back in the end. Incredible. But there it is, confirmed. Adrian, the 2022 Global Series world champion. 15 points ahead of Piero Ricciuti in his debut season with Ducati. Great effort from him. And Andrea Severi once again in that top three. Brilliant stuff. Christian rounds out fourth, with Trastavere, as we said, fifth. And Jack Hammer, those big six in the top six at the end of the year. From Vindex, Spadalongo, Davide Galigna, Tati Go, Mr. T, Yu Mastru, our debutant this year, rounding us out. What a brilliant year of eSport action.
10 races, our longest ever season, and we finally have ourselves a champion for the second time in his eSport career. It is Repsol Honda's Adrian that clinches the eSport championship. This beauty right here is on its way to him for the second time after arguably the best opening couple of laps I think we have ever seen, Jack, in the MotoGP eSport Championship. It was unbelievable stuff from lights out.
Yeah, absolutely mental race. I mean, that race was completely bananas right from the off. We saw moves going every which way. But Adrian, of course, you are now 2022 MotoGP eSport Global Series champion. The second time that you're champion. Just tell us how it feels.
Thank you very much. I am very, very happy because I know it was very difficult because I started from third row of the grid, but I had to try, and I did a great start. And fortunately for me, I could stay first. Piero was behind all the race, but fortunately for me, I could do it at a great pace and win the race and my second time.
Yeah, an incredible performance. We've dubbed it the Miracle of Mandalika, coming through from 7th on the grid to take victory. But Adrian, looking at the season as a whole, 10 races, you've won 5 of them. How do you sum up your 2022?
The season was very difficult because all the years in this championship the level is higher. But fortunately for me, I could stay in the podium, stay winning races, and always in the top, except 1-2 races. But in general, I am very happy with my performance, and I am very happy.
Yeah, you've absolutely every right to be very happy, Adrian. Huge, huge congratulations on winning your second eSport championship. Not only is this beauty, the championship trophy, coming your way, but keys to a brand new car as well. Well done. Have you got space on the drive? I hope you have. Just move a couple of cars around and make sure you can squeeze that brand new BMW into it. Well done, Adrian. Go and enjoy the celebrations. Have a few drinks tonight. You've definitely deserved it.
Yeah, he certainly has. Congratulations, Adrian, then, of course. The newly crowned 2022 MotoGP eSport Global Series champion there. You saw the highlights of that race there, which was absolutely bananas, to be honest. It had me and Jack absolutely revving in the first few of those laps there. Completely ridiculous, to be honest. But, I mean, how can you sum it up, Jack? He's been incredible this year, hasn't he? And really, it's hard to describe just what he's done. He's won 5 of those races, of course, and gone on to be a very worthy champion indeed. I don't think there was anyone that deserved it more. No,
I think you're absolutely right with that one. He's won 50% of the races, as you said, and when someone goes out and wins that many races, showed the consistency that he did. He mentioned there a couple of off nights, a couple of blips throughout his campaign. I think he finished outside the top 5 on 2 occasions, but outside of that, he was there every single race, competing at the front, and he had a mountain to climb. But he did it. He reached the summit. So you have to say huge, huge congratulations to Adrian. The Miracle of Mandalika completed. This bad boy on the way to him. And that, unfortunately, brings to an end our 2022 Global Series. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk you through all 10 of our races throughout this year, starting in Mugello, finishing here in Barcelona. From myself, Jack Appleyard, and Jack Goss, my good friend and colleague, thank you so much for watching. And a huge thank you to everyone behind the scenes as well that put together this brilliant production that you've enjoyed. 5 huge blockbuster global series events coming your way throughout the year. But don't worry, there's more to enjoy in 2023. We'll leave you with the season highlights. Enjoy your Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you next season.
Hello and good evening from the Mugello circuit here in Italy for the opening round of the 2022.
The lights are on and the Global Series is officially underway of 2020 and 2021. The Repsol Honda Man continues. The 3-time king pulls the wheelie across the line.
The level this guy is amazing. They are running so fast, so crazy fast.
And back through comes Jack Hammer. What a fight over the line, and it's back-to-back wins in 2022.
Close spot from Stefan Val. That's incredibly close, barging him out of the way.
And as we come into the stadium section, track should have it covered. Absolutely tight, and Spadalongo is firing through into the chicane for the third time. 3 into there, is it going to go? But somehow he had to wait some time for a win, and just like London buses. And now for a second time, important performance for Adrian. His 3rd win of the year. Trask ever so slightly wide, and the Suzuki man doesn't need us from Adrian from pole position. Contact in the back, is that Trastevere? Piero Ricciuti out to the final corner and takes victory in Argentina. Best start comes from Christian MM17, and look at Adrian. He started from row 3 of the grid, but he's going to roll around the outside of nearly everybody.
What incredible bravery that is to throw it up the inside.
And he becomes a 2-time for the championship.